Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 2026 ALCS Annual Awards. I'm Barbara Hayes, Chief Executive of the Authors Licensing and Collecting Society, and it's a great pleasure to see so many of you here today, writers, illustrators, partners and friends gathered all in one room. So tonight is about celebrating imagination, inspiration, and the extraordinary power of storytelling. In other words, the very things that make life richer and occasionally make deadlines slightly more terrifying. It's been quite a year for ALCS. We now represent more than 130,000 members, and last year we paid out a record £47.5 million to writers. Since our founding in 1977, we have now paid out more than £750 million to our members. Now, that figure always makes me pause and feel quite smug, actually. It's not just a number, but a great achievement. It represents rent paid, time bought to write, research trips taken, schools visited, stories finished. It represents creative careers sustained. Of course, the past year has not been without its challenges. The conversation around AI has continued to dominate in the last year, but what struck me most was this: the creative sector refused to be a passive bystander. When the government proposed a broad copyright exception that was deeply flawed and unbalanced, we saw incredible unity in the response from creators and the organisations that represent them. The response was measured, informed, and resolute. And it worked. The government stepped back and reconsidered. I would like to thank every creator in the room who lent their voice, and particularly to our partners, the Society of Authors, National Literacy Trust, and the Royal Society of Literature. Collaboration matters, and when this sector stands together, it is indeed formidable. We are already 2 months into the National Year of Reading, an initiative our colleagues at the National Literacy Trust have spearheaded. Yay, Jonathan, yay. And it's helping to inspire more people to make reading a part of their daily life. It's a powerful reminder that reading cannot be a luxury or a niche pastime. It is foundational. It shapes empathy, imagination, and opportunity. I'm just going to have a quick glass of wine, sorry. Only a sip, I should say, before I carry on. Sorry, I've got the strepsils down there as well. If I start croaking, you'll know what's happening. I cannot wait to see how the year of reading continues to grow over the course of 2026, and it's exciting to see how more people of all ages discover a slightly dangerous thing called a love of books. Our 3 awards tonight: the ALCS Educational Writers Award, the V.S. Pritchett Short Story Prize, and the Ruth Rendell Award, all speak greatly to our mission, as well as reflecting our core values at ALCS. Supporting writers at all stages of their career and recognising that creativity and education are not side issues, they are central to our cultural life. These awards are an opportunity to celebrate the vital work that writers and illustrators do in the UK, inspiring us through creative stories, educating children and young people, and championing literacy. Now, it gives me enormous pleasure to hand over to our host for this evening, Cecilia Knapp. Cecilia is a poet and novelist and was a Young People's Laureate for London in 2020 to 2021. And if any of that is wrong, just let me know. Her poems have appeared in the Financial Times, Granta, and the White Review, and she wrote, curated, and presented the BBC Radio 4 documentary Power Lines, Poetry of the Coast. And we are delighted to say she was the winner of the Ruth Rendell Award in 2021. So we're really pleased to be welcoming her back. So please help me give a good welcome for Cecilia to the stage. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's so lovely to be here and to see you all. My name's Cecilia, as Barbara just said. I am a poet, novelist, and a creative writing teacher. And as mentioned, I won the Ruth Rendell Award back in 2021, but it's not about me tonight, so I shouldn't harp on about that, should I? I just want to say how much of a total joy it is to be here tonight, because tonight is about recognizing the work of some incredible, committed and inspiring writers. And that is so important. I know as a writer myself firsthand that writing can be grueling, precarious, and sometimes lonely. And it requires passion, grit, and hard work, but also crucially, community, encouragement, and real robust support, which is what ALCS give. So it's wonderful to be here to acknowledge the dedication and creativity of writers, and particularly I wanted to say to recognise writers who are doing their bit to ensure more and more young people can feel the massive, expansive benefits of reading and writing. In my own work, I've been so lucky enough to publish novels and poems that allow me to share the stories and experiences that I believe matter and that should be represented in the world and understood in the world more widely through literature. And in my work as a creative writing facilitator in schools and in community settings, and during my year as Young People's Laureate, it was important to me to enable more young people to do the same, to have their story heard, to see books and words as a space for them, a welcoming and enriching space where they can explore the world and explore themselves, and perhaps then even reach for a pen and express their own stories in their own unique way. After all, everyone, no matter who you are, should be able to feel the myriad gorgeous benefits of getting lost in a book, or feeling the empowering feeling of sharing your story and knowing that it matters, whoever you are. And I think that in a world where creativity is increasingly made to feel like a kind of extra thing or a luxury or something only afforded to the few, rather than an absolute right for everybody, it feels vital to celebrate those writers who are committed to bringing the power of literature to more and more people. And that's exactly what we're doing here tonight. We're celebrating and supporting writers. So it's a real pleasure to be a small part of that in some way this evening. And so, without further ado, we start this evening with the ALCS Educational Writers Award, which is administered by the Society of Authors. This is the only award in the UK that specifically celebrates educational writing for children, highlighting outstanding examples of children's nonfiction published between 2023 and 2024 for the 5 to 11 age range. As has already been mentioned this evening, 2026 is the National Year of Reading, and this year's shortlist reflects the aims of the campaign to encourage children to read by inspiring creativity and looking beyond the curriculum to bring a wide range of subjects to life. Now, in its 18th year, past winners include Robin Walker and Kath Semker, Jackie McCann and Aaron Cushley, and last year's winner, Alex Norris. The winning author and illustrator will share a prize of £2,000. And this year, the ALCS Educational Writers Award was judged by Paul Massey, Tanya Jennings, and Alan Fatemaharan. Before we continue this evening, though, I would just like to speak about one of our shortlisted illustrators this year, Paul Davies, who sadly passed away late last year. Our deepest condolences go out to his family, friends, publishers, and to Christopher Edge, who worked alongside Paul on their incredible book, Quantum. Please do take some time after the ceremony to look at Paul's fantastic work. There are copies of the book available in the foyer. But please now welcome to the stage Tanya, who will be running through this year's shortlist. Tanya, everyone.
Well, where do I start? I mean, first of all, it's an honour and a privilege to be here, celebrating the wonderful world of books. Fantastic authors and illustrators who have just produced synergy and fusion and colourful, knowledgeable magic. There are just great reads to discuss here. There's wonderfully wired brains, joyful, colourful, encouraging, informative. It's fueled by a powerful and relatable voice. It explains complex neurological terms in an accessible way. It encourages empathy, positivity, and understanding, and it explores different aspects of the brain and how it's linked to learning, different abilities, challenges faced, the history of diagnoses, and inspirational people from the past and present. Variation of format, conveying the information in chunks. Vibrant backgrounds and upbeat illustrations complement the text, and it's an important book that offers young people on the neurodivergent spectrum a mirror to see and celebrate themselves, and it should be read widely. It should be in every library. It's a great book. And Quantum, Alan couldn't be here because he's not well, but Alan, he was explaining that Quantum's an excellent introduction to a fascinating area of physics, and Christopher Edge breaks down what I previously found to be a complex subject into clear and engaging information. And of course, the wonderful Paul Davies' stylized designs evoking futuristic sci-fi cartoons of the 50s helps to communicate the information in an entertaining way. And all of us, they found this book, which will appeal to most young readers, a strong contender for the top prize. How to Make a Human, absolute delight. This is from Paul Massey. Breaks the body down into its core systems, showing how everything connects in a way that's fun, clear, and easy to follow. Bright, engaging illustrations, clever layout make complex biology accessible for younger readers, while the organised format guides children through each concept step by step. It's informative, playful, and beautifully designed. And this book will captivate curious minds and inspire a real love of learning about the human body. How to Spaghettify Your Dog. Wow! Brilliantly inventive, entertaining introduction to science for young readers. Humorous, imaginative, full of curiosity, combines playful what-if scenarios with practical experiments that children can try themselves, making complex ideas accessible and engaging. And the illustrations perfectly complement the text, adding energy, clarity, and fun, inclusive and thought-provoking, sparks wonder, encourages questioning, empowers children to explore biology, physics, and the natural world in an interactive, memorable way. So, again, this book will make you an artist, introducing you to the world of art. It won all the judges' hearts. It brims with colour and joy. It's an excellent introduction for budding artists, young and old. Ruth Millington writes with knowledge and enthusiasm for the different artists showcased. Ellen Surrey's bold design with vibrant palettes perfectly complements the different art styles on display. And the addition of clearly explained activities adds playfulness to the subject. And this book will no doubt encourage the creativity and curiosity of its readers, and it's a perfect book for any school or library. And then you've got Hamza, the wonderful celebration of the wild world. It's exuberant, informative, inspirational, and timely. It bursts with accessible fun facts, scientific observations, career tips for young would-be naturalists, and stories of Hamza's encounters with wildlife while filming. It's ideal for dipping in and out of, chronicling an impressive array of animals from the land, sea, and sky, from different biomes. It explores diverse characteristics of animal behaviour, championing neurodiversity, with the author sharing the determination it took to follow his dream of becoming a wildlife cameraman. It's inspirational. Includes infographics, animal records, top 10 countdowns, profiles and photographs which will support visual learners. And it also gives young readers tips on how they can become involved in conserving nature and protecting the planet. So who's going to win out of those fantastic books? I mean, congratulations to all the publishers, authors, and illustrators. Just fantastic, beautiful books to judge. An absolute pleasure to be involved in the Educational Writers Award. So drum roll, please. Tension builds in the room. Golden envelope. So, who is the winner? This book Will Make You an Artist by Ruth Millington, illustrated by Ellen Surrey. Congratulations.
I was really shocked and honoured. I think in a world of AI and technology and scrolling, human-made art is more important than ever before. And that's why I think this book's really important. And I've been around the country teaching children workshops with this book, and the response has been amazing. And a lot of the kids and their parents have told me that they feel this pressure to be perfect. And with art, you don't have to be perfect. You can experiment and unlock creativity and imagination. And that's hopefully what this book does. So thank you so much to the judges, and also to the wonderful team at Nosy Crow. It's been such a pleasure to work with you on this book, my first children's book, and my agent Lucy, and all the children who've picked the book up and made something amazing with it. So yeah.
Thank you, Tanya, and congratulations again to all of the shortlisted writers and illustrators, and especially to our winners, Ruth Millington and Ellen Surrey. What a fabulous book that is going to inspire so many young people, and what a gorgeous speech as well. The next award of the evening is the Royal Society of Literature's V.S. Pritchett Short Story Prize. The award was founded by the RSL in 1999 to commemorate the centenary of an author widely regarded as one of the finest English short story writers of the 20th century. It aims to preserve the mastery of narrative that Pritchett possessed and elevate those continuing to push the boundaries of short story writing. Stories are judged anonymously by a panel of writers. Previous winners have included Leora Hayon, Emily Ruth Ford, and Lisa Blower. The winner of the V.S. Pritchett Prize will receive £1,000, and their entry will be published in the RSL's annual magazine. This year's judges are Tishani Doshi, Kirsty Gunn, and Tom Vowler. And I'd like to now welcome on stage Laura Greenfield, Director of RSL, and Kirsty Gunn. Please make them feel very welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm Laura Greenfield, Director of the Royal Society of Literature, and this is Kirsty Gunn, one of our judges for this year. The V.S. Pritchett Prize is particularly special to the RSL. Firstly, because it's our only prize dedicated to the short story, a very specific craft. But secondly, because this prize engages so many people. This year, we received around 1,000 entries from across the UK, the Republic of Ireland, and the Commonwealth. They were judged by a fantastic team of judges, and I would like to thank them all for their thoughts and deliberations, and also the RSL staff and our team of first readers, who this year made sure that every single eligible short story received feedback. Kirsty's going to speak briefly about short stories, and then I'll move on to the shorts.
Kirsty will speak about short stories. What a pleasure it always is to speak about literature, about writing, as Cecilia and Tanya were saying. I mean, what magic happens in rooms, kitchen tables, back garden sheds, unlocking the bicycle while the imagination is going to work and we're starting to think about a piece of art we're going to make, whether that's a piece of nonfiction, a novel, or in this case, the wonderful world of the short story. Short stories have always been a particular passion of mine. And indeed, as we were saying, V.S. Pritchett himself was a kind of master of the form and kind of laid down a lot of what a number of writers would think of as ground rules for the short story. To my mind, the short story is a piece of magic. You know, it's so much more than a story being told. It's an experience. It's a kind of moment of drama. It's something happening that wouldn't have happened otherwise. And all of it's happening in the present tense of our reading. That makes it a really magical kind of form. And once we finish reading it, I've always loved this phrase by the great critic R.P. Blackmure, that short story adds to the stock of our available reality. Isn't that wonderful? Adds to the stock of our reality. So my fellow judges and I, Tom Vowler and Tishani Doshi, had great fun going through the wonderful list of short stories that we'd been given by our readers. And and having terrifically spirited conversations about short stories and about the particular short stories that we came to create for our shortlist. And do I now invite you back to talk about those, Cecilia? Thank you.
So I'm delighted to be able to talk you through this fantastic list of short stories. So firstly, we have Finuala O'Leary's If You Knew How Much I Love You, described by the judges as a powerfully visceral allegory of coercive control. It's escalating horror, disturbing but never gratuitous, Carteresque in its authority and aesthetic. Then we have Hannah Webb's Bottom's Dream, described by our judges as a sharp-witted, hugely accomplished and taut piece, wonderfully ambitious in its scope, with an audacious refusal to be pinned down. Myrie Griffin's We Dirty. The judges said, We Dirty sets the reader up for one thing and then deftly subverts all expectations, capturing girlhood friendship at its most alive. Through cracking dialogue and a keen sense of adulthood and the future quietly encroaching, the story leaves us wholly on the side of the young protagonists. Johnny Aldridge's Of Being Such a God, described by the judges as a wonderfully assured short story full of fabulous detail freighted with menace and foreboding. The overall construction was sophisticated, and the delivery of its ending performed in deathly quiet. V.S. Pritchett himself would have loved this story. Keith Go-Johnson's Willkommen. The judges said, Willkommen is a compelling story of transformation and fear, opening in an apparently ordinary register before quietly gathering an atmosphere of unease. Like the best short stories, it shifts our sense of reality, showing how the everyday can almost imperceptibly slip into the sinister. And finally, Priyanka Verma's House of Thread. The judges said, this quietly compelling study of a woman's determination and domestic life carries the reader through a journey of discovery as we peel away the layers of a life to see what lies within, confidently imagined and executed. And now I'm going to hand back to Kirsty to reveal the winner.
With my gold envelope. Just a really lovely list of stories full of flair and elan and excitement and that wonderful word, imagination. In the end, there was one story about which the judges were unanimous. That story is Bottom's Dream by Hannah Webb.
Wow, I'm really shocked and delighted. I really loved writing this story, and it had quite a few iterations before it became what it is now. So it feels really special to have it recognised like this. I think writing can be quite a funny thing. Well, it's a funny thing for me anyway. I spend a lot of time in my pyjamas hunched over my laptop. So it's very nice to know that at least a little bit of that damage to my posture has been worth it. Thank you to the judges, and thank you for a lovely evening.
Thanks so much to the judges, and well done to all of the shortlist, and a huge congratulations to Hannah. I want to read that story and all the stories on the shortlist. They sound fabulous. The final award I have the pleasure of introducing this evening is the Ruth Rendell Award for Services to Literacy. This award from the National Literacy Trust and ALCS aims to honour and promote the legacy of best-selling author Ruth Rendell, who was a passionate advocate for education and its power to change lives. The National Year of Reading highlights the importance of this award and the vital work that everyone on the shortlist has undertaken in the last year. Past winners have included myself, Carl Nova, BBC Radio 1 broadcaster Greg James and Chris Smith, and last year's winner, Tom Percival. I'm now going to hand over to Jonathan Douglas, Chief Executive of the National Literacy Trust, to tell us about this year's shortlist and announce our winner. Welcome.
It's utterly wonderful to be here. This is without a doubt one of my favourite nights of the year. Absolutely wonderful to be in a room full of such incredible people, hosted by ALCS. And Barbara, wonderful. What an incredible opening speech to combine with a glass of wine and what I to actually turn an opening speech into a drinking game. It's like, why hadn't I thought of that? Absolutely fantastic. This year, as you've heard, is a National Year of Reading. We are celebrating and engaging a new generation in the act of reading. And we've gathered around the National Literacy Trust a range of incredibly wonderful people to lead the charge. And I have to admit that in the middle of them all, I feel a complete imposter. We have people who have kind of got marketing backgrounds, who are experts in behaviour changes, really great brains. My only qualification for being here is a slightly dodgy post-grad qualification in librarianship from North London Polytechnic. But being a librarian taught me perhaps two of the most important things. I was a librarian in the centre of London. I had two libraries. I had the Marylebone Library, a posh library, and I had Church Street Library, which I loved beyond words, which was in a porter cabin. And the Church Street Library was tough work. You had to really, every morning I had my under 5 session. I had to wander around the estate with a drum and a kazoo, getting the families together. It was absolutely fantastic. But the two things I learned without a doubt in that library was, first of all, that the kids who enjoyed reading did better. I was there for 10 years, and you could see their lives changing as well. The second thing I learned was that, without a doubt, apart from the innate power of books, of stories, that the active ingredient which got kids reading like nothing else was the experience of meeting and working with writers. And I would absolutely scrimp and save to get the best writer that possible. And I remember we did book sales of old books and this kind of thing. I did a sponsored run, can you believe, to get, and I managed desperately trying to get Tony Bradman, who went on to become chair of ALCS, and was at that stage in, I think, volume 48 of Dilly the Dinosaur. But he was a superstar, desperate. Couldn't afford him. Instead of which we got a new writer. It was his first visit, and his name was Anthony Horowitz. He's surprisingly good, actually. But the uniqueness of that experience was so important. And we now know the science is irrefutable about those two things. In terms of the enjoyment of reading, it is more powerful in terms of where a kid ends up than parental background. It translates into the most powerful driver of social mobility. The other thing we now know also is that kids who have worked with an author or met an author are 40% more likely to be those kind of kids who enjoy reading for pleasure. Put those two things together and think about what you do. You are empowering children to read for pleasure like nothing else. You're transforming not just the moment, but those children's futures. And that's what the Year of Reading is about. It is absolutely at the heart of what this prize is about. And it's not just about kids either. At this very moment, 20,000 prisoners are tuning in to Claire Keegan's These Small Things in prison. And propped up by author visits, the work in the prison space, utilising, again, that magic, that incredible power that you uniquely have in terms of animating an interest in reading is sitting at the heart of so much of the work that's being celebrated in the Year of Reading. But, actually, we shouldn't have a year of reading. We should have a decade of reading, and writers should be at the heart of it. So that's what we're celebrating, the power of writers to change lives and to change futures through their ability to animate and bring literacy alive, not just through their works, but through their advocacy. And that was at the heart of Ruth's vocation as a writer. She wasn't just the most extraordinary writer, she was a literacy activist. She was one of the first people to support and fund personally the National Literacy Trust. And she went on to be a powerful advocate for this role. And that's why when she died, ALCS and the National Literacy Trust got together and decided the way to celebrate that vocation, which is the vocation of ALCS as well. Don't forget, as well as giving all those millions upon millions and millions of pounds to writers, which you all deserve, they also fund some of the most important frontline action around literacy in the country. ALCS are the silent heroes of the literacy movement in the UK. ALCS, Ruth Rendell, share that vocation, and that's what we're celebrating tonight. So, as you've heard in the past, we had some extraordinarily wonderful winners of the prize, and Di Redman and Rachel Davis Featherston, ALCS non-exec directors and writers in their own right, got together and we plowed through extraordinary. We had more nominations than we expected, more nominations than in previous years, and the field was hotly contested. Now I'm going to run through now the shortlist. Now the majority of writers are here, but not all of them. So if you're here, whoop at the moment I announced you to draw attention to yourself. And to celebrate the fact you're on this shortlist. If there's a pause, whoop in the absence of the author for the fact they're not here. So the first thing is the wonderful Piers Torday. I love that. His work translated into over 14 languages. Last year he spoke to and worked with 11,500 children, recorded podcasts and did all sorts of wonderful things to promote literacy. The phenomenal Maisie Chan. Multi-award winning author. What we loved about Maisie, and what this was expressed so well in the nomination, was that her commitment is, in essence, to ensure that every child sees themselves in the stories they read. Maisie's joining Book Trust Represents programme this year, which means that she'll be working with almost 100,000 children across the UK. Absolutely phenomenal. Nicola Garrard. Nicola's popularity was such that she was nominated by 7 different people, and the handwriting was all different, and it wasn't hers. Nicola taught English in secondary schools for 23 years and has got a focus on working with young people who are facing real challenges. Last year, she worked with excluded boys in Islington, won the UKLA's Our Class Loves This Book Award, wonderful, and works with a charity called Minority Matters, where she leads programmes supporting refugees, disadvantaged and marginalised families in Islington. Nathaniel Lasori. South London, way. Camberwell, way. Was born in South East London as one of 8 children to French and Madagascan family. Nathaniel did over 40 events from May to December. I'm not sure what he's doing in between January and April, but May to December, 40 events, including working in schools, festivals, absolutely phenomenal stuff, working in Salford, in depth in Salford, as well as supporting Little Tiger with their work for the National Year of Reading in Swindon. Absolutely fantastic work. The marvellous Maz Evans, author of over 15 books. Maz started out as a journalist working as a television critic. Now, the 2 things we absolutely loved that Maz did. First of all, she founded Story Stew, a creative writing programme used by primary schools and literary festivals, but she also created Book Buddy, a scheme which matches people who have surplus books with schools that desperately need them. Remember, 1 in 7 schools don't have a library. The phenomenon that is MC Grammar, the artist formerly known as Jacob Mitchell, author of The Adventures of Rap Kid, who has, I don't know where to start. Went viral. What's a strange expression? Went viral after a 2019 video of him rapping the Gruffalo. You will have seen him doing similar extraordinary things with Michael Rosen at Glastonbury with a bear hunt. But also, much more quietly, he does extraordinary work with Great Ormond Street and has really, really brought popular culture into children's literature in a way perhaps no one else has. The amazing Rob Biddulph. Rob, children's author, illustrator, who began his career as an art director. Rob his work during COVID was incredible. The draw with Rob stuff was amazing. But one of the things I absolutely take my hat off to in terms of Rob's work is the fact that he's always in Parliament. I mean, wherever I rock up to Rob he's one of those people who, I completely agree. If you drink enough warm white wine, we will change literacy outcomes. But his advocacy is incredible and absolutely wonderful. I think to spend enough time in Parliament, I should be Prime Minister. Anyway, never mind this. Let's vote for Rob. Excellent. The wonderful Laura Henry Elaine, award-winning international educationist, storyteller, Her latest initiative is a podcast where she interviews fellow children's authors called My Words, My Book. Her aim is to inspire children and families to read and to provide children at home and schools with access to free education resources. Laura's, I love this, wonderful Laura's webinars is it called It Takes a Village, and it's absolutely worth watching. The concept that actually no one person can raise a reader. It takes the whole of society. Absolutely fantastic. So we this incredible richness of stories. Absolutely wonderful. And the winner. Can I have a drum roll? It's lovely. The winner is. Oh no, that was the last one. The winner is the incredible, the phenomenal MC Grammar. With over 300,000 Insta followers, he is winning a generation for literacy by using the power of rap to take reading to the heart of popular culture. MC Grammar. Formal shake. There we go.
Gosh. Hi everyone, how you doing? Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you to everyone. I've written a little speech because I'm not very good on the microphone sometimes with these kind of moments. So I really want to get across what I want to say. If this happened, it's amazing. So thank you. Right. Receiving this is actually quite hard for me to put into words, as you can see right now. And I just wanted to share my story about literacy and what happened to me as a kid and how I got into words and books and how it changed my life and why I'm doing what I'm doing now across the country and the world. So I left school with 1 GCSE and I really didn't connect with books, reading. I didn't understand why people were reading. Like, it seemed boring to me, what you're doing, And then I tried to get a job and I couldn't get one because I had no GCSEs, and also no one really understood what I was trying to get across. Like, inside, I had these big feelings. Everything was loud and bold and proud, but on the outside, it was really quiet and muted. And that was because I really couldn't express myself. I didn't have any words at all. Zero accuracy. No one got me. And then I found hip hop music and rap music, and I finally felt understood. And I really connected with the way people express themselves, especially the emotional side, the anger, the feeling misunderstood, marginalized, not really included in things. So I really connected with the music. And I'm going to just cite some of my favorite lyrics I had when I was growing up as a kid here, because these really resonate with me and they got me into hip hop. The first one is, you couldn't make the crowd throw up their hands if they swallow their fingers. That, I think, is very deep. This one here. I'm so ahead of my time, my parents haven't met yet. I've got more soul than a sock with a hole. And my all-time favorite from Lil Wayne, which is, real G's move in silence like lasagna. That is super deep wordplay right there. And it was those punchlines and that unapologetic delivery that had me really hooked. And I wanted to be like those rappers. So I said, I want to be a rapper now. I want to rap. But I was missing the words. I needed to write. So then I started to read. I was like, I'm going to give this reading a go. So I read voraciously everyday fiction, non-fiction, a lot of self-help books. I went on Tony Robbins' course after reading his book, and I walked on, hot coal. It was amazing, and it really changed my life. Books gave me words, right? So then I had a voice. They opened doors for me that I didn't think existed before. I had confidence. They gave me language for the feelings that I was feeling. People understood me. And I really realized then that literacy isn't just like this ink on paper. It's all around us. It's in the lyrics and the raps. It's in the street signs. It's in the text messages. It's in the way we tell our stories at the dinner table. It's in the rhythm of the poem and the raps, and the courage to speak up, and also like the wisdom to listen. So I then began to study more and more epic books. And then I became a teacher because I said, you know what? I need to share this gift with the kids like me who didn't understand, didn't get it. So I decided to become a primary school teacher. And in America, they call English language arts. And I love that, because for me, then it became an art. When you actually understand it, you realize that putting it together is something so unique, all of those words. And I began to teach, to share this magic to inspire more and more kids like me. I wanted someone like Nathaniel Lazore. I wanted someone like him to connect with. I love his books. I began to share and study lots of other books, Piers' books, the last while, the Mazes, Who Let the Gods Out, were big books in my classroom. Like, we studied those books. They kicked off a lot of our subjects. And if only we showed literacy that respect, I feel, broadly as an art, I think we're going to be in a much better place to protect it. Because when we protect things that we value, and we protect literacy, we protect imagination, we protect empathy, and we also protect opportunity for kids. And this generation and the next one need it more than most, this is in my opinion, because these screens are so bright and the scrolling is endless now. And now there's AI on top of that too. So we need to get across to them that there's a patient power waiting for them that no algorithm can replace. And I don't care what anyone says, no app can replace a lap. And there's nothing better than reading together. So I'm on this mission to get kids to read deeply, families to get to read deeply together, connect, because for me, the books are the bridges that bring them together. So I'm on a mission as MC Grammar to do that. And whether it's reading Rob's Word or drawing with Rob through lockdown, watching Laura's Jojo and Gran Gran, or reading all about Maya and Marley, chilling with Maisie and Danny Chung, or reading one of Nicola's books, or even being in our lessons, we have to keep creating, keep writing, and keep reading. So, yeah, thank you for believing in me. Thank you to the crew at Simon & Schuster as well. I value you guys. They took a chance on my stories, the National Literacy Trust, ALCS, all the publishers, the teachers, of course, the librarians, big up the librarians, the publishers, all of the artists, and of course the readers that keep these stories alive. So for me, it's not just about honoring literacy tonight. It's about protecting it every single day, and just keep reading and rapping. Okay, I'm taking my golden envelope as well. Okay,
Yes, take that golden envelope. You deserve it. Congratulations to this year's winner, Jacob Mitchell, aka MC Grammar, and congratulations to everyone that was on the shortlist for the Ruth Rendell Award. Your commitment to literacy and furthering children's education and making young people feel that they have the absolute right to stories and to literacy, it's really, really inspiring. So congratulations, everyone. And thank you also to Jonathan for presenting the award. And congratulations to all of tonight's winners and all of the incredible shortlisted writers and illustrators. It's been a pleasure being part of this evening. It's been so fulfilling and fortifying and hopeful. It's been a total pleasure to be your host for the ALCS Awards this year. And thank you so much to everyone who has made these awards possible, to everyone here in this room, in attendance, to everyone working behind the scenes to make it all happen. Can we just ask all the winners and nominees to stay back for some photos and also to receive your prizes? And everyone else, the evening is drawing to a close, but can we ask you to make your way back to the atrium for more drinks and canapes and to celebrate the winners of the ALCS Annual Awards? Thank you so much. Welcome.